Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Healthy Dog Workshop podcast. My guest today is Lynn, who, together with her husband Paul, are the co founders of Paul's Custom Pet Food. Lynn, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join me today.
Thank you so much for having me. And Paul in spirit.
And Paul is with us, and I can sense his vibes. So,
In spirit.
yes. Um, so how
Can,
long have you been
can you
doing?
all hear? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, so we were cooking for our dog Hunter, who contracted or was diagnosed with cancer in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and was given only a fibrosarcoma, was given only 6 months to live unless
Wow.
we went the traditional route with chemotherapy surgery. They were wanted to remove his jaw. And he was only 3. So we decided that we would not go that route and seek a second opinion from a holistic doctor who practiced Chinese veterinary medicine in
Mhm.
New Hampshire, where we lived at the time. And we saw her within a day. She analyzed all of his medical records, looked at his biopsy and him, of course, and asked Paul in particular. I was working full time at the time, but asked Paul. We were both working full time if he was willing to cook for him, and Paul said absolutely. And so her name is Dr. Hannah Wells, and she is still in practice in Exeter, New Hampshire. She gave us a recipe, and Paul went to town. I mean, he just
Mhm.
he prepared the recipe religiously, portioned everything out. We had a regimen of Chinese herbal medicines, a
Mhm.
full page of beautiful herbal medicines. And so we gave those to Hunter. And within a year, the tumor had shrunk,
Wow.
and we had committed then to this practice of TCVM for him and for cooking. And so he did live till 13. He died in 2019. And
Mhm.
it was at Dr. Wells' suggestion that we start a business. And really, at the beginning of the business and now where we are, um, her her goal as a veterinarian, and I'm sure you can understand this, was that she wanted to know there was a business out there that would create food according to her
Mhm.
instructions, her
Yeah.
therapeutic instructions,
Yeah.
uh, for pet parents who could not, for any reason. They didn't
Mhm.
want to, they couldn't source them
Sure.
ingredients, whatever reason. So we started a business in 2014, 4 years into
Incredible.
Hunter's journey.
Well, and 13 for a golden with a health challenge is phenomenal.
Yeah, he ate, well, really, it was all whole foods
Mhm.
and herbal medicine.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, and he was a good boy, and a lot of love and a lot of exercise.
A lot
He
of
made
clean
his
living.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
great.
I'm continuously blown away as my own dog who has kidney disease at the age of 13, coming
Mm,
14. And he's on some Chinese as well as Western herbs. The
mhm.
results are unbelievable. And of course, he's eaten fresh food all his life, as did his mother, etc. But herbs are powerful.
Yeah. Yeah,
Herbs
there's no
are very
question. I
powerful.
mean, I would not say I believe in fresh food, obviously, but
Hmm.
I would not say it was entirely the food that
Right.
it was clearly the regimen of herbs, but herbs are food, right? So this
Exactly.
was all, it was food as medicine, herbs and food as medicine.
Yeah, that is awesome. And now fast forward to 2024, you're providing custom as well as I'll say off the rack
Sure.
formulas,
Yeah.
both cooked and raw for people.
Well, the raw we provide are therapeutic raw, or come to us from a customer who has a pet and has a raw recipe from her vet or his vet. So yes, we do raw recipes. We do completely whole food recipes. We actually, just so we're clear, we do not create these recipes ourselves, and
Mhm.
and we sort of don't take a necessarily a position on any of them. We
Mhm.
feel like the experts are the veterinary community, the
Right.
veterinarians, um, veterinary assistants, someone more learned in the field than we.
Right.
And people come to us with recommendations from their veterinarian, whether a dog or cat is healthy or unwell. They
Right.
come to us in both cases and they ask if we are willing to prepare the recipe according to the veterinarian's
Right.
instructions, and we are.
And that makes things so easy because I think of, home prepping. For some people, that's a nightmare. And
We hear it a lot.
have what they want in a package in their freezer to defrost and serve. That's
Right.
huge. That's huge. And as you said, whether it's a veterinarian, a TCM vet, somebody who is trained in nutrition, formulating these, they all have value to whatever individual they were made for.
Right.
Now, you made Susan Thixton's list this year,
We did.
the 2024 list.
We did.
Congratulations. That
Thank
is
you.
an incredible accomplishment.
Thank you.
What was that journey like?
Well, as you know, she wants proof of what we do, how we do it, and where we source.
Hmm.
And so we were able to provide her with all of the documentation that she required in order to make the list, which we're really proud of.
Yeah.
I will say, if I can back up for a minute.
Sure.
So we started out in we've always been in a commercial kitchen, and it
Sure.
was always it's a human grade commercial kitchen, but we were making pet food only, and we were the only ones in the kitchen. So
Hmm.
so that's where on her list it says, are we in a human grade facility? The irony is we're actually in a restaurant. We
Oh,
rent a restaurant. It's sort of the Just Food for Dogs model, really,
hmm.
where their original model, where we have an open concept restaurant cafe
Hmm.
kitchen. People come in and you can watch. You can see the food being made.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
So, but we cannot, because that we are the exclusive renters of this
Hmm.
kitchen.
Right.
It's actually licensed for pet food now. Even though we're in a restaurant kitchen, you cannot say that we're only licensed for pet food, so it's not licensed for human food, even though it's a
Yeah.
restaurant. So
Yeah.
we're
And
essentially a human
you know,
food producer.
I have to say that, those laws are frustrating to us
They are.
because it's human quality.
Oh, sure.
But unless there is, an inspector there all day and all that stuff,
Right.
you can't say it.
Right. Yeah.
But
So that's where, so we produce, so back to Susan's list. I mean, we had to prove to her that where we get our meats, primarily
mhm,
proteins, and we've kept very small over the years. We still are making it ourselves by hand. We don't use co-packers. This is in
mhm,
a restaurant kitchen, and we have a small staff of 8. And so we um, source locally too. Most of our proteins come from farms within
mhm.
10 or 15 miles
Oh,
from
that's
here. We
awesome.
know our farmers. We're in farmers markets. That's how we started
Mhm,
advertising our services.
mhm.
And so the sourcing is really hands-on.
And
Um,
you try to use humanely raised animals
Oh yeah.
if
Well,
possible.
especially, I mean, we're talking small
Small.
family farms that
Right.
are pasture raised, beef,
Mhm.
and then our chicken we can't get locally. We don't have Connecticut doesn't have the sort of resources
Yeah.
for that. But yeah, everything is certified humanely raised, or she saw evidence from the local family farms that submitted
Mhm.
documentation about their practices and was
Yeah.
satisfied with that.
Yeah. And that makes, I'm of the belief that makes a huge difference in the quality of nutrition for
Sure.
the animal eating those animals.
Sure.
You can't compare the factory farm stuff. You
Well,
can
I can give you another a little story
Yeah, please.
about full circle. I mean, to a vegetarian or someone who's vegan, this won't be, this isn't
Mhm,
the most pleasant story. But we have a friend who's a farmer, a lamb farmer. We get our lamb locally in Connecticut also. And she has, I'm not big into sheep, but she has a Romney sheep, or had a
mhm,
Romney sheep that she loved. And he was old, or it was old. And so
mhm.
it was its time um, to pass. And so she actually had that meat. Talk about custom. She had that
Um,
meat ground
yeah.
and brought to us to make for her dogs, her working farm dogs.
Wow,
And this
wow.
is within 30 minutes of here. So
Oh, wow.
that's how local
Sure. That's great.
yeah, our world is.
But yeah, that is the full circle, use every part of the animal, circle of life kind of thing.
Right.
And yeah,
We make bone broths too.
oh, you
That I'm really proud of too. Yeah. So we use chicken backs that are
mhm,
discarded from local chefs,
sure.
and beef marrow bones too from local farmers.
Mhm.
And we make a beautiful broth.
Yeah, well, and bone broth is so nutritious and so appetizing for all of the dogs
Hmm.
that I love that. I love that. So, just ah, this cold has me challenged, shall we say.
Oh,
Um, so you do both cooked and raw.
sure.
Um, do you grind bones or for your
Hmm.
raw or okay?
Hmm. We do grind the bones for the raw recipes that come to us.
And then
We
of
do
course
cat and dog too. We actually did a gerbil food once over the last 10
gerbil
years.
food. Oh my god, what I
It
always
was
thought of gerbils as like herbivores.
Yeah, they are.
They
So
are? Okay.
someone had come to us with a recipe out of Boston, actually, a woman in Boston, and had us make a recipe that we ended up freezing in little ice cubes,
Uh-huh.
um, and shipped it off to Boston. So yeah, we're it's not just limited to dogs and cats.
That's
We will
that's
prepare custom
mind-boggling.
food for any
Who
for
would have
any
who
companion
would have
animal.
thought
I know.
that you'd be producing gerbil food?
We didn't. We're having a lot of fun with this.
Absolutely.
Actually, we got
Absolutely.
our first recipe the other day, a custom recipe from a veterinary nutritionist for alligator. So,
To
so
feed
we do
alligator?
very novel proteins too.
Oh, okay. Or you're feeding alligator, not you're feeding.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yeah. So we'll do
I'm
novel.
thinking
We do novel work with a lot of novel
I'm
proteins
thinking
for dogs.
feeding the alligator, you like toss them the
No, no,
chicken.
no, 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 no.
Where are you sourcing alligator?
Uh, Fossil farms. I hope that they swear to us that they're humanely sourcing. So we do get some from them.
Okay, my mind is still boggled.
Yeah,
Humanely raised alligator.
yeah. I don't know how it's.
And now I think of
I wish I could tell
alligators
you.
as
We haven't secured that order yet. We did
yeah,
an estimate for it.
but an alligator by nature is not a humane animal. I mean, they have the death roll and everything, right?
So
I
yeah, that
just
one, you know, I wonder sometimes, to be really perfectly honest and
mhm,
serious about this, I wonder, this whole category of humanely raised, this category of farm raised
mhm,
or farm fresh or something, so these recipes come to us from the experts, as we said.
right.
And this particular dog, it is, can't eat anything traditional, can't eat any
Yeah.
traditional protein. So the reason for the suggestion for an
Mhm.
extreme ostrich, we've gotten
Yeah.
a lot of recipes, calling for ostrich. Do I,
Mhm.
I'd like to believe that the ostrich is humanely raised.
Yeah.
It's a little harder, I will be honest, to know
Right.
uh, when
Because these are not necessarily friendly animals.
no,
That I mean, I think of, having worked on a dairy farm and everything, you could go up and pet the cow if you chose,
right.
and that they had some interaction with the farmers. And yeah, you're not going to necessarily do that with a beef cow, but you're going to do it with a sheep. You're going to do it with a goat
Pig,
and
even.
chickens. Uh,
Hmm.
Ostrich, I think, can be tough, or maybe I'm thinking of emu, but
Right.
I don't know. In any case,
So I mean, we don't take that lightly. We still
no,
source, we still seek out uh, providers who we think are committed to ethical sourcing, committed to ethical business practices,
right,
and really, I mean, if with honestly, we have turned away recipes because of we weren't happy with where we could source,
right.
and someone might have said to us, "Well, I can get that from a truck off the side of the road." We won't
No,
do
thank
that.
you. No,
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 we won't do it.
no.
So.
Too much stuff has gone wrong,
Yeah.
and you can't ethically. You can't.
No, not
Um,
at all. As business, not in any way. And the same with venison. I mean, pet parents can do things we can't do, and there is no judgment. I'm
right,
just saying, there's no way someone comes to us, and this is how the industry gets in trouble, right? Someone
right.
comes to us and they say, "Hey, I just shot a deer. We're here in
Hmm.
Connecticut, right?" They say,
Right.
"Why can't you put that in your pet food?" And we're like,
Yeah.
"Because that's just not the way it happens."
No,
You
no.
know? So,
And might that deer be superior nutritionally?
yeah,
I mean, it's the
exactly.
ultimate in free range pasture raised,
Exactly.
but you can't, as a business, take a chance.
Right. Right.
And going back to the alligators in the comments, um, alligators are carnivores, so they are not inherently humane.
Uh,
I don't know. That's an interesting question, Heather. We'll have to discuss that over coffee. Um, but alligators and crocodiles, I think, for that matter, are raised for not only food but also their hides are used to produce leather goods.
right.
I mean, use the whole animal. We are all down with that. But the logistics, I think, of being humane and properly caring for an animal that might want to eat you are challenging. Um,
Mhm.
so
Well, and we're not really talking about the animal being humane. We're talking about whether whomever is
it's
raising
caring for them,
alligators for
right?
as a meat source is
Yeah,
treating those animals humanely. And that's
exactly,
what we look for.
exactly. Um, oh, and Diane brings up, and this is a nice segue.
Mm.
Um, GMO and glyphosate ridden corn and crops. What do you guys do to try to minimize the impact of those pesticides and types of crops?
Well, sourcing locally gives us an advantage in a lot of ways in that we really can ask our providers to our
Mhm.
farmers what they feed. Some, especially with custom recipes. I will say that some people insist and will pay more for all organic and we'll just absolutely insist that we only use organic. I will tell people that most of our proteins are locally sourced and not GMO, not fed with GMOs, but
Mhm.
some might be. And there are people who don't, um, who choose not to pay the extra for
Right,
a guarantee of non-GMO feed and organic sourcing. So
right.
again, that's where we're at somewhat of an advantage. I mean, this might seem in some ways to be sort of a cowardly way out of the problem, but we don't make up our own recipes.
Mhm.
They come to us, and
Right.
so we're not really in a position to make judgments. We will tell people, however, that our preference is always local and organic.
Yeah,
That's where we start. Like,
yeah.
and especially local and a lot of local farms. I don't know if this is the case everywhere in the states, but a lot of local small farmers can't afford certification and to be organic. And yet we know them personally, and we know that they are raising, they're really young, small family
Mhm.
farms that are
Well,
raising
and they'll say we're
organic.
pesticide free, but
Pardon
yes,
me?
they'll say they're pesticide free
Oh
or
yeah, or
that,
IPM.
but yeah, to get that organic certification
Yeah.
is expensive.
Right. And some of them are just not able to do that, but we know that they are pesticide free, that we know that
Mhm,
we see the cows and the pigs and the chickens roaming. And we
mhm,
know some that actually practice regenerative agriculture
right,
and move their animals every day. So, I mean, that at the highest level, we're trying to go to always source that way. It's
yeah,
not always possible, and it's not always affordable for everyone. And we are doing custom recipes, meaning made to order recipes. And so when a recipe comes to us, we do our sourcing first and
mhm,
then send an estimate. And
right,
so then, we certainly do not get every recipe. We don't make every recipe that comes to us because it can be pricey.
right. Well, and if you're not comfortable with the quality of it or what you can source, no, it's not worth it.
Right. And we won't do it if we
It's
can't
not gonna
source
do
it.
it. Yeah,
Nope, we won't do it.
yeah. Let's jump back to Janet's comment. Janet has a golden retriever or two. Um, and this is something that uh, as a veterinarian, I wrestle with. I'm like, I know if you do what I tell you to do with these natural methods, we'll get results. But owners are hesitant and they don't want to ditch the kibble, the conventional approach. So, can you jump back to Hunter's story a little bit?
Oh, you mean in terms of vitamins? Are we looking at
No,
Janet's question about?
we're looking
The first one.
the
Sure.
first one. Yes,
Yes,
first one.
absolutely. Did we notice? Oh my gosh, we noticed right away.
Mhm,
So yes, he was eating kibble and we were completely clueless about the pet food, anything in the about the pet food
mhm.
industry or pet food generally.
And as most owners are,
Oh, I hope not anymore. There's
it's
been
getting
such a
better.
sea change in the last 10 years, which is so
Mhm,
refreshing. No, absolutely. We were blown away. He was, the usual, you hear this from everyone: coat, eyes, his coat improved, his eyes, his energy level. um he, of course, as a 3-year old, he golden, he had a lot of energy, but I mean, you could see the difference in that Whole Foods and those herbs made. And I would say the thing that really blew us away the most was to see that tumor shrink, to see this tumor on his jaw, discovered by his groomer, actually right under his
mhm,
jaw, dissipate, almost entirely dissipate after a year. And
yeah,
I think, I wish I had the long list and I can provide it. I would be happy to provide the list of herbs that he was prescribed to any of your followers, your
mhm,
listeners. I don't have it with me now,
sure.
um, but I'd be happy to prescribe. I think it was the broccoli. I think
Think
it was,
so?
I do. Um, yeah, he was on, yes, he was on so many different things, but that sort of, he was on a couple of things that were, intended to break down the tumor. Um, Broccoli being one of them, I believe, or it had broccoli properties. And so, yeah, we noticed a lot of changes in him right away. He's amazing. He was amazing.
All right. So we'll skip down to Janet's second thing. And I see, well, inbox with the left hand. There's always a troll. There's always a troll.
Oh, no, really?
Can you see inbox me with your left hand palm for your accurate reading? Because ancestors show me a lot about you and is very important.
Oh, yes, I do see that.
Yes. We've had some entertaining guests in past episodes. But you and I were talking off camera about this. Vitamins and minerals, where you source them, what challenges you face in sourcing them, because it is not easy.
Thank you.
What's your experience been?
So when we so when we first started out, we wanted to start out and to be a business to do just custom orders. And that proved that in very short time to be a bad business model, meaning we were waiting for customers to come to us. We were waiting for pet parents with recipes to come to us. And so 10 years ago, that was just, that was impossible. So we did seek the advice of diplomats of veterinary nutrition, and we still work with many of them. And they created recipes, 6 recipes for us using a premix. I'm not gonna, that's at the time, that's what we had. Those are the options. We'd like to explore something different as we're moving forward. None of the ingredients, we're assured none of the ingredients are from China. Um, we would like to move more in the direction for our 6 recipes. We'd like to move more in the direction of whole foods. We're not there yet. We do have a puppy recipe in the works right now, which is all whole food based.
Nice.
Yes, no premix, no synthetic vitamins, no.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you run into you can't get enough zinc in, you can't get enough choline in.
Right.
And, if it's one nutrient that, I can live with that. When it becomes the laundry list, I question it. And again, then what is the sourcing?
Right.
Where does it come from? Who's getting what from where?
Right. Well, in order to make Susan's list, to go back to that, we had to prove nothing was from China or, was U.S. Everything was sourced within the U.S.
Everything
And she
was
was
on the up and up.
right. She would not have put us on her list had she questioned the quality of our ingredients.
Well, and having known Susan, God, I don't know how many years now. Seems like forever.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't hesitate to give you the boot. Sorry, guys.
Oh, I feel free. Oh, you must feel awful.
At least with the mute button, you don't have to listen.
Yeah, that's right.
It is
a cold, or are you a cold or allergies?
I don't know.
Could be allergies. The pollen's out.
Yeah, maybe. But it came on, and of course, this is a week off for me, so it's really annoying because I wanted to get so much done, and I'm spending my days coughing. Who knows? It could be COVID. You never know anymore. But I will recover.
Hope so.
Oh, Diane says everybody in the office is coughing like this.
Huh.
Well, I apologize, guys. So yeah, Susan thinks nothing of kicking somebody off when she discovers something isn't true or something has changed.
Sure. We were very honest with her.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be anyway, and we would be no matter what. But
right.
But honestly, if we had a question about something, we sent it to her and we said,
She's
"I don't know."
An amazing resource.
Pardon me?
She's an amazing resource.
Yeah, we would ask her though, "Are you sure that this is okay to make for your list?" Like we were forthcoming and said, we want to make sure that you're happy with this. We're particularly with the vitamins. She knew that what we use, we gave her everything, and then we told her that we'd like to move away from a premix and use all whole foods. It's not easy though. We're struggling with this puppy recipe, especially puppies.
And you're not the first company that has faced this. So, yeah. I'm getting a little static in behind me. Are you hearing a vibration or anything?
I'm not.
It's on your side.
Oh, it says it's muted. My mic suddenly got muted.
I muted you.
Oh, you did.
I'm hearing like I don't know, like crumbling sounds.
Really?
Anyway, yeah.
Still?
Oh, Janet hears a funny noise too.
Oh, I'm so sorry. There's no one in my office. The only thing I could say, I wonder if the walk-in cooler. Like if you're hearing
Oh, maybe. It
buzzing
could
from
be.
the cooler with.
Something. Oh, Diane says it's a rat.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't hear anything, so I don't know how to correct it.
Well, it'll stop. Um,
I'm sorry,
so Janet
everyone.
had a great question, and this is something, I work primarily with dogs, and occasionally I get the dog owner who has a cat. Cats are the toughest when it comes to raw food, aren't they? And you
Yes,
would think, since they go out and catch their own food, that it wouldn't be an issue.
yes.
So, what's your experience been with
We have
dealing with?
we have a cat food that's a complete and balanced cat food. We also have a topper that doesn't have any vitamins in it, and they love it. But I will tell you, it took forever for us to find one. It's so meat forward. It is cooked. It's not raw, but it's meat, and the um, the balanced one has cantaloupe and fish oil and eggs and
Oh, that's
cantaloupe, which I hear is an issue for mouthfeel, which is the issue with cats. And
yeah,
so
yeah.
they love the Bootsy's blend is what we call it,
Hmm.
and the Zeeks, which is the topper,
Hmm.
and then it has been more difficult actually with the custom recipes, and I feel for the pet parents with cats because that can get expensive. You they are getting a therapeutic recipe. They bring
Right.
it to us, we'll make it, and if their cat rejects the therapeutic recipe, that can just get too, very pricey and prohibitive. We've had, I would say, at least 75% success with the
That's
custom recipes with cats. Our classic recipe, the cat food recipe that we are selling to all healthy adults and cats and kittens, is relatively new and it's very successful. We have, maybe 8 out of 10
that's
cats have been.
great.
I know, we're really happy about that. Took a
But
while,
cantaloupe, that's I never would have thought.
right?
But yes, now that you say it's a mouthfeel thing,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's something very satisfying about the texture of cantaloupe,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and that is interesting. And cats do often appreciate sweet, so it kind of walks that line as well, I think.
Oh. So we did a Facebook Live recently with a local veterinarian, and she said something I had never heard before, and that was that it can take even the pickiest cat 9 or 10 times eating that food before they'll acclimate to it. And
Mhm.
so she was telling some of our customers with cats, don't give up, just because the first 2 times, 3 times they reject it. A lot of our customers will mix, so
Mhm.
they'll introduce it slowly.
Sure.
But I
And
thought the 9 or 10 times was a really
yeah.
interesting
Well,
fact.
and I think of Dr. Karen Becker, who has a great video on how to get a cat started on fresh food. Taking him from a kibble cat to a fresh food cat, and she takes well over a month.
Ah, that's
So it is. I agree. It is a slow process,
right. And don't give up.
and don't give up,
Right.
because cats are cats, and they will do what they please.
The other thing is starting them early, like every other kind of
Yeah, as
fresh,
early as
healthy food,
possible.
right?
Yeah. Um,
So we have a little ambassador cat, my niece's cat.
mhm.
My niece gets free food because she wanted to start her kitten um, off with fresh food right from the beginning. And so he loves it. Never an issue because he's never known anything different.
Yeah, yeah. I think of my dog mentor who happened to have two cats, and we were never successful in getting those cats to eat raw.
Oh,
They back in the day, it was back in the day, and I think Origin was like the standard best kibble you could get. And you put a little Origin there, the cat would eat it. You put a chicken neck or a ground commercial ground or anything. Nope, nope. Would not even eat canned. Totally got hooked on kibble.
oh, that's so sad,
It was
really, especially especially cats, the moisture that
The moisture, exactly.
the lack of moisture with kibble. I mean,
Well, and when I am at the hospital where I work, it's a conventional hospital. I do my thing, but I get stuck doing conventional calls too. And when I tell people, look, cats should not eat dry food, and they are blown away
mm,
because the rest of my profession is telling them, yes, feed the dry food. Yes, it'll clean their teeth. Yes, it's better for their kidney disease. Really? Really?
yeah,
Let's feed them something that's 90% dry when
mm,
they can't retain normal amounts of water in their body.
shame.
It just makes you want to shake your head.
So, one of the reasons we created the bone broth was also for cats.
Mhm.
And honestly, as a business, we do try to take people where they are, and I'm sure you do as well. We don't want to be perceived as a sort of affluent only company.
Right.
Our food is expensive. We are literally making it by hand with high quality ingredients.
Hmm.
But that doesn't mean there aren't alternatives. So if someone comes to us and they do say their cat they can't afford or their cat won't switch off kibble, we will suggest something else. Like we will suggest our bone broth or we
Yeah.
will suggest a topper,
Yeah.
anything. Especially the bone broth if with cats too, and the cats are really liking it. So
Yeah. Well, and there's so many beneficial components to it beyond just moisture and collagen, which cats are woefully collagen deficient if
mm,
they're eating conventional cat
mm,
food. And they need that. They absolutely need that. So yeah, it's good, and I don't think we ever serve ourselves if people perceive that they're being shamed for what they're feeding their cat.
no, I don't think so
You
at
know,
all.
and you don't want to say, I don't care, you can't afford this. This is what it is. You find a way. You
Find a
find
way, any
something,
little bit.
any little bit, exactly.
Right. And
Uh,
it doesn't have to be ours. Honestly, I say to
Sure.
them, cook some chicken.
Right.
Add a little.
Add a little ground beef.
Right.
Chop
We
up.
have a salmon treat. Use it crumble it up and use it on as a topper. Anything.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Janet has another question about her new local veterinarian. Do you work directly with veterinarians
Oh,
when
absolutely.
I suggest food?
Yes. Yes, every day, all the time. We have veterinarians who refer us,
Hmm.
send their customers, our clients our way.
Sure.
We have a couple of veterinarians we're working with now to actually just we're discussing putting food in their office,
Oh,
and
nice.
then of course the customs, so that they come to us on a daily
Yeah.
basis.
And are you doing much educational outreach to veterinarians? Cold
Mhm.
calling and such, because there's such a need for that.
Yeah,
Oh, look what she's got
we
here.
prepare
Show
this
me.
veterinarian booklet. So it's a veterinarian guide to our custom program, like our custom process and service, because that's really what that is. And then the second half of the booklet is a guide to our complete and balanced recipes for cats and dogs, and our treats as well.
That's perfect. Well, I
We
think,
actually are working right now on a rack card for veterinary offices with a discount for first time purchasers too. So,
yeah.
yeah.
And actually, I think you were going to do a discount
Oh,
for
yeah.
people listening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
What's the scoop on
did
that?
you, do you have it or
Um,
it's a,
I do. Let me just bear with me while
sure.
okay.
Janet has such good questions. Everyone does.
Janet's the bomb. Okay, let's see if I can do this. I'm going to attempt to share screen, guys. No promises on how it goes, but let's see. Oh, look at this. Share, show, and stream.
Oh,
Okay,
there it is.
there it is.
Yeah,
And
so I think so. We said we'd give 20% off anyone who's listening today and free ground shipping to anyone who's uh, who's part of this live, this Facebook or
Hmm.
YouTube live, for your first custom order.
And is there a code? I can't
Yeah,
totally.
there's a QR code, but we have a I also put my email address, which is
Oh,
Lynn at paulscustompetfood.com, and the phone number as well. So you can contact me directly with a custom recipe, and we'll give you, we'll create an estimate just like we do for anyone based on the ingredients and the complexity of the recipe. And then for this one, the real bonus is the free shipping, because shipping is outrageous too. That would be zones, essentially zone for ground shipping. It's essentially zones 1 and 2, which is from Maine west to Wisconsin and south to South Carolina.
that's quite some distance. Going,
Yes, we ship weekly.
yeah.
Hmm. We
Uh,
actually do ship overnight and 2 day or two, but
okay.
it's
Well,
outrageous.
and this time of year, less of a concern than say July and August.
Right. Yes.
And it's so interesting. Janet mentions that the new vet had a cancer diagnosis in her own dogs. All of us come to this with our own dogs.
Yeah.
It's just inevitable.
Yeah.
Um, but that is really generous. 20% off and free shipping. Um, so
We
yes, guys.
really like, I mean, honestly, we enjoy, I mean, we don't like that people are coming to us with sick pets, but
Right.
it is so satisfying to work with the veterinary community,
Mm-hmm.
and have a pet turn around like
Oh,
Hunter
yeah.
did, or you know, who are, I don't want to say cured, but whose life has changed, dramatically as a result of the
Well, and
treatment.
whose response to treatment with this methodology
Yeah.
exceeds the expectation of conventional.
Oh yeah.
And that's where I look at my dog. I look at some of the other cancer dogs that Dr. Pope works with and
Oh,
such. And you know, she gets 3 years. Conventional medicine gets 6 months.
right.
And you have to be willing to put in the work and maybe shell out some dollars,
Yes.
but put a price on that extra time.
No, 10 years with Hunter. 10
That's
more years.
well, and what an invasive tumor, a fibrosarc on the jaw, you know. And you were
And a
talking
golden,
and
who,
a golden.
who lives for their mouths, right? It's all about the,
Well, and who, they were conventional medicine was saying pursue this radical surgery.
oh yeah.
Um, and no, I have to say I would not cut my dog's jaw off,
Particularly at 3 years old.
particularly at 3. Yeah. Or there are some other radical, you know, nose cancer and such where you're taking off just vital parts of the dog. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it.
Hmm.
Um, so yes, and Janet says, "Are you going to make it next year?" Now that, and I have to say, you fought this battle. I fought this battle. Everybody, when I had to announce the change, everybody thought, "Oh, you're just moving it out 2 weeks." It's like, no, I'm moving it out a year. None of us could wrap our minds around that,
No,
but hopefully,
yes,
for
we
you.
are planning on it.
Good,
We're
good,
hoping.
yeah.
Yeah, we were really excited about it for this year. We were ready. We had we had a lot of
Yeah, you were
material.
totally ready.
Yeah.
And just the way events transpired, it's like, look, it's not going to be what I want. So let's just put it on pause and make 2025 better.
That's right.
And I already know it's going to be better. We have Rita Hogan, the herbalist, who was coming this year, but her book will be out in
Oh,
March of next year. So it will be one of the early book signings for her, being in April. Um, and her book, the Canine Herbal Companion. I'm not sure if that was the final title. It's phenomenal. It's
oh,
absolutely
I'm interested.
yeah,
Also, I mean, the Forever Life dog life will be out too. That
yeah. I
rest.
don't I don't know if Karen and Rodney will be there. I've put the invitation out. It's kind of late in their book tour because that book comes out this June.
Sure.
But who knows? We could have another Karen and Rodney adventure. It could be a lot of fun. I love having, you know, the cool experts and new people.
Hmm.
People who are not the run of the mill that you see at all of these events now. So I'm really
Well,
looking
that's our
forward to it.
plan. It's on the calendar.
Good,
The
good.
right the right dates are on the
The
calendar.
right dates are, yeah. Um, yeah, and I just had to laugh at first though when people thought, "Oh, I can just move this 2 weeks." These events are booked out a year and a half to 2 years in advance.
Hmm.
That's how far out the venues are booked. Because you think about like they're doing weddings and other big time things, and you don't just get a date; they kind of tell you what they have available.
Right.
So it is what it is. So what else haven't we covered here? Um, I think we've pretty much really covered all the things you offer.
I do want to encourage anyone local, though, to stop by. It's really
Oh,
important to us that people,
yeah.
you know,
Which town in Connecticut are you
so
located
we're in
in?
New Milford, Connecticut, which is northwest,
Okay.
um, very rural
Good.
farmlands, lots of farms.
Maybe, oh my God, maybe we should have a Healthy Dog Expo
Oh,
adventure
oh,
too,
like a bus tour.
like a bus tour.
Yes,
We
please
get, should we
come.
get a group of people together and go for a plant tour?
That would
Oh,
be great. We welcome you.
that would be so much fun.
It's really small, but we have a so what was once the dining room in this great cafe. It was actually an organic foods, mostly vegetarian cafe,
Hmm.
and great food. And unfortunately, didn't make it through COVID,
Yeah,
so it
so
was
many.
available for us. But we actually fed the owner's dog too, so
Oh,
we
wow.
kept it all in the family. But we
Sure.
would love to have you here. So we took the restaurant part, the seating part, and we made that into production.
Mhm.
Shipping and packaging and that sort of thing. And we have
Right.
a full open concept kitchen, office, and then the regular restaurant
Hmm.
layout.
Oh my gosh, we'll have to talk about this after we go off camera
Yeah, it would
because
be fun.
this could be a lot of
It
fun.
really would. I'd really
Definitely.
encourage the veterinary community too to come too, and we can.
Yeah. I think
Uh,
there's so much skepticism encouraged by commercial pet food amongst the veterinary community of, oh my God, if they're not one of the big three and they don't have a full-time boarded nutritionist on staff, they can't possibly do it right, which is complete BS. Um, and yeah, take a little of the fear apart and let them see,
mhm,
hey, this is just food. There's a plan. We know it's nutritionally complete or formulated for the purpose it was formulated for in
mhm.
our sick dogs. And it's the highest quality, unlike kibble. But we
And you
won't.
can watch. You can literally watch our team making this food in a very small kitchen, just like you would if you were going out to a small cafe for lunch or
Yeah.
dinner.
Yeah. Well, and that open concept kitchen is very popular up here in Albany. And yeah, you're sitting there and you're watching the kitchen.
Right.
It's
So you need to know it's clean, and so
and and yeah, and the guy's, not doing things he shouldn't while he's flipping your food.
no.
Um, but yeah, definitely. Um,
Thank you, Janet. I just saw her last comment.
yes, yes. Well, all right. Well, let me let you go
Thank
because I
you so
know.
much for having me.
Thank
Awesome.
you. And guys, don't forget to reach out for that amazing offer of 20% off and free shipping. And let's learn more and maybe we'll organize a bus tour.
Oh, I would love that. You're welcome anytime. We should schedule a little bit in advance, as you know.
Yeah, yeah,
We'd love
yeah,
to have you.
definitely. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you guys. Take care. We'll
Thanks,
see you
everybody.
next
Thanks for
time.
the great questions.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Bye
it.
for now.
Bye bye.